Hello, people. How the hell are you?
Hello, hello, hello.
Haha. Fuck you. We're early. Hey, and look at this. International Man of Mystery is here.
Oh, and Villanista behind me.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to wait until you said something on the show to do that.
No. We'll see. I'm going to do
I
that on the
this whole
show.
plan, and then you fucking just blew your load.
This is that sound check part that Brody
that nobody
gets
pays
pissed
attention
at.
to. That's right, yeah.
So
That we make references to, but Brody's mad because he can't listen to.
if the fuckers were here early, they got to see that. If not, go well. That's for all the time you bitch and moan about Graham having a fucking kid.
Yeah. Right. If they were like me and click watch as soon as Mel posted,
You know?
they would have seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
Very true.
See, they'd be there already.
That's right.
You know, and Graham could go back to having a 3-year-old that disrespects him on a daily fucking basis.
100%. That's fine.
Her dissing you is the funniest thing ever.
It's definitely fine.
Her with Tegan the other day when she tried to get Tegan in trouble, and then after she got out of Carly's arms, she looks right at Tegan as she walks right by him. Tegan's like, "Y'all saw that, right?" I go, "Oh yeah, that girl's got your number, T."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That child has a lot of Carly in her.
Oh, yesterday, she, her nap was shit. And,
Did she say that?
no, I did.
Papa, my nap was shit. Shit.
And she goes, I blew her a kiss for something. I think Carla was like taking her up to give her a bath or whatever. And I was like, all right, I'll see you soon. Say goodnight. And I blew her a kiss like that. And she goes, It's like, and then she just runs away. Just laughing. This little prick. It is what it is.
Oh.
We just got IMOM. I'm like, who's IMOM? Oh, wait. International Man of Mystery is in the house.
God damn right he
Who's
is.
iMom? Is Apple releasing a mom for kids that don't have one? Maybe Tegan should sign up. Come on.
Still
got it.
one of the, well, it was partially your daughter's line. Still the best.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, yeah, it's okay, Cameron.
That was outstanding.
Your mom went away.
Thank you
My
very
mom
much.
went away, and I turned out all right. It's like, God damn, Tegan.
Yeah, you know, AI's coming along. Maybe they just have a mom program now.
I mean, that's not far away.
No.
Wouldn't
If you go on the right kinky websites, it's already existing.
I was going to say, how long till they make it fucking pornographic? It's only a matter of time. All we are waiting for is how do they make AI into the point where you can put your dick in it? That's what's going to happen.
100%. Well, and that's any invention by man, period, over the last forever.
How can I put my dick in it?
How can we fuck it, or how can we use it to blow something up?
The Dune popcorn bucket.
Yes, exactly. Anybody see SNL this weekend?
No, I don't watch regularly.
They did a like a little video short, and it was a love song, and it seemed like the boy and the girl were gonna hook up together because the parents were leaving, and the boy does his thing, and everyone's gone, and then he holds up the Dune popcorn bucket with the big mouth
With the hole in it, yeah. Nice.
And all of them are running around the halls with the Dune popcorn bucket, all talking about how they're gonna fuck the Dune popcorn bucket. Nothing else matters.
That's pretty good.
Alrighty, are we ready to do a show, Mrs.
I mean, it's
Houston?
10:02.
Oh shit, we're late.
Oh, now we're
my
late
God.
again. Oh, God.
Right.
I'm just waiting for Taylor and Christian to start complaining that they, missed the beginning because they thought they'd be late. So
But they're
late.
not Brody. They wouldn't do that.
All right, let's do a show.
This is Nick. You're listening to the DU Football Show, Drunkard United. Of course, up the Blades and fuck the Owls.
The Owls could at least fucking score and
Yeah.
don't give up. I mean, they're in 19th place in the championship, so but they're not 20th.
That's right.
They also don't have a record-setting fucking horrible defense.
Didn't the Blades score? Oh, that's right. VAR won it.
Yeah.
That sucks.
For once, VAR got us right. It wouldn't surprise you to hear West Ham didn't score. Big shocker. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Look straight in shorts.
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me is bewildered and surprised as I am, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty well, man. How are you?
Hanging in there.
Good.
We got hit with a doozy of a surprise today.
Yeah,
we'll get on to
absolutely.
that in a moment. You know?
Absolutely, we will.
And of course, on the ones and twos, let's see if she remembers. Yes, she remembers. Producer Mel, how you doing, Producer Mel?
I'm doing pretty good. We got some Christian is in the chats.
Hey.
And Christian ratted us out. Hey, Brody, you just missed them talking about you.
Take that, you prick.
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get podcasts. And of course, streaming
Why'd you
live every
say it like
single
that?
Monday night.
Podcast?
You say shit wrong all the time, and I never fucking correct you.
It's just funny, man.
Should you want to chat with us, there are as many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It's at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
Or as I have always been one to say, you can just get your ass in a plane, take a cross-country fucking flight to go to D.C. to watch a touring show, and then get somebody else to drive your happy ass on over to the studios, which is the case tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. International Man of Mystery, Johnny Benson. How you doing, John?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man.
And she nailed it with the mute button. Production. Let's try this again. Hi, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to be here.
Yeah.
It's good to have you.
Yes, we were completely blindsided. I can't give her too much shit about the mute button because she fucking produced a guest.
Oh, yeah.
From across the fucking country.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and both our friend, obviously, Nicole, and he were both comfortable getting in a car with a stranger.
yeah.
And coming out here, which is how we've convinced people to do that is strange, but that's cool.
Oh, yeah, and the next
You're not a
Mrs.
stranger
Houston.
if you're part of DU football.
That's
show.
true.
That's the-
Everyone's a friend here. We've never met a stranger.
You
You're
don't have
right.
to mute yourself yet. The next, the next Mrs. Houston, Nicole's here too. Oh, hey Cole, how's it going?
Hi, how you doing?
You know, Villa fucked so hard, we decided to have an orgy. This might be the first time we've had 5 people in the same room. Mm-hmm. I think that wasn't rotated like the whiskey show. Obviously, everybody rotates in and out. But have we ever done 5?
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry, both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So is the red-blooded Americans we are. We vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Whiskey Advocates list continues its run. Mr. Graham, what are we drinking tonight?
We are drinking number 12. That is the Blue Run Trifecta. Comes in at 58.55% by volume. And quick math is 116, 117.1. On your proof there. Should run you around $180. I think this cost us about $200, so just over MSRP. Is that right? Roughly?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because this is one that you picked up. At the helm for Blue... Oh, I'm sorry. Julia Higgins from the Whiskey Advocate brings you your blurb this week. They rated it a 94, by the way. At the helm for Blue Run Spirits Whiskey are whiskey director Shaylin Gammon and liquid advisor Jim Rutledge, formerly of Four Roses.
Four Roses, and also does Cream of Kentucky as well.
Who demonstrate their mastery with this blend of 3 Kentucky bourbons aged 6, 8, and 9 years. Oatmeal, raisin, cookie, and tropical aromas dominate the nose through dried pineapple. Is soon overtaken by a cinnamon spice, vanilla bean, and grape jelly. The palate is rich with flavors of chocolate and espresso, then playful notes of raspberry syrup, flourless chocolate cake.
They've used that description before.
If there's no flour, is it cake?
Yeah, it is.
don't
Steakhouses love to give those away for free all the time when they're giving away desserts to people. It's always the flourless chocolate cake. It's always is.
Huh. All right. More
Anybody
fruit
wanna
and a
correct
good
me?
deal of
I'm not
heat
wrong.
make for a tantalizing finish.
This is honestly the first time I've ever had liquid to lips with anything that Blue Run makes.
Same.
Been around now for about 2 years, I want to say.
Something like that, yeah.
Great looking package. The butterfly can be like different colors on the bottle, and they have ones that are different wood finish and all that kind of stuff. This feels like a fancier barrel to me. Like,
Yeah.
those are 3 really good bourbons, and it drinks really well. I'm not overly blown away by it. I mean,
So-
it's good bourbon.
It's better
good.
with the cube. The cube's definitely opened up the flavor profile.
Big time.
We said just before coming on that I thought it was a bit flat and neat. To be honest, I can get a ton of flavor off of it. If I just had it neat and read that description, I'd be like, "Fuck you, bro.
Yeah.
What are you tasting?" I've got a decent enough palate, and I had none of that.
Right.
But that cube has really opened it up, and it's actually pretty good. I get a lot of chocolate up front, and I get more kind of almost cherry and raspberry over the middle, almost like a cherry-filled like a chocolate candy
Wow.
with that
Got it.
cherry in the middle.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
Over the mid palate, I don't get a lot of, I don't get a lot of some of the other things that they said. Those two flavors for me are the more predominant ones, and it does finish with a little bit of spice, a little bit of allspice. It's pretty good. I don't know that I'd pay $200 for it again, but it's a pretty good whiskey.
For me, it was Larry gave me friend price, so it was more like
Nice.
$1.50.
Sweet.
It was for me. My problem with overproof bourbons, and something that I like so much about my brand in the buck and a quarter that was number 5 last year. These overproof bourbons tend to be a little grippy on the back of the throat.
Yeah.
And the heat really kind of takes away from overall palate perception, right? And you think about people who do that very well, and there'll be yet another Turkey Masters Keep on this list, because shocker, they make really fucking good
What
shit.
was that single
just-
barrel Bull Run that I brought, the port finished 15-year-old bourbon that Justin had?
Yeah.
It was excellent. They balanced the heat in it very, very well, despite it being 127 proof or whatever it was. Because you're right. If you don't, people that just, sit and drink won't know to let it rest on your tongue for a second. Give it the momentary burn off of the alcohol in your mouth to be able to allow those flavors to develop on your palate. They'll just drink it down and go, "This is hot, I don't like it."
So, it's been a good minute since the last time I took a sip, and I have that almost heartburn-like esophagus heat going on in the throat. And for me, that's not a desired effect of when you drink something overproofed. It should stay with you, but it shouldn't stay with you like that.
Right.
So for me, I mean, it does not inspire me to grab another bottle of Blue Run and off the
I
shelf.
don't think it should be as high as number 12.
Yeah, there's a few we've
I
had
think this
already
is one
that
that
I
a
think
bit
is
overblown.
better.
When we finish the list, we always kind of rearrange it into what we would do, and I think this is a bit overshot at number 12.
Fuck that Ezra Books at 20, which was a $25 bottle, was
in my
delightful,
opinion,
and
better
I
than
think
this, yeah.
for flavor profile, better than this.
Fair.
It's this will be. I'll try another Blue Run when somebody has it open and they're
yep.
pouring it, or I'm at a guild meeting and they're there to pour and try. That's when I'll have it again. But it's not.
And
Again,
again, that being said, it's
actively.
It's not bad bourbon by any means, but when you take into account value, flavor profile, heat, all of these various components don't add up to a winning thing for me.
And again, remember, we say this all the time when we're talking about this list. It's the top 20 list. It's top 20 for a fucking reason. They are good. Our job is to find out which dish didn't get enough salt, like on Top Chef, right? The job is to be a little picky. And for me, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't blow my skirt up. Fucking they don't make it anymore, but the old American Prairie bourbon that High West used to do, I think was better.
Right.
And it was $40 on the shelf.
I hear you.
Big difference. So,
Yep.
kids, want to get your all's opinions. John, what you think?
I'm with you on this one. It's good, but it's not
Great.
great.
Yeah. Cole?
I agree with you about that heat lingering.
Yeah.
If they had balanced that a little better, this would probably be in my top 5.
Right.
Because on the front end, it tastes so much like one of those chocolate-covered cherry candies,
Yeah.
You bite into it and you get that little burst of cherry liquid, and you still got the chocolate roaming around in there.
There's that jam jelly kind of
Yeah,
component
so
that we're talking
you
about.
get that sweetness, but
And
it's
right
not
on
it's
the
not
front.
tart. It's not tart.
And it's not
but it's
overly sweet either,
Yeah.
right? It's perfect just in that
Yeah.
beginning. But then a minute later, man, that heat hits you, and I can still feel it tingling like in the back of my tongue there. It's not a pleasant sensation.
I have a feeling as the ice melts, it'll get better, but then that defeats the purpose of its proof in the first fucking place.
Yeah.
Like, it should be something, and I mean, I hate to go back to mine, but that fucking cash drink does not drink like $1.25. It drinks like it's 100 proof.
Right.
And it's soft and it's lovely, and there's a lot of heat up front, but it goes away so fast. And
Right.
it's a nice, lovely, long, sweet finish, and that's what you
That's
want.
what love is all about here in February.
That's what
Hell
love
yeah.
is all about. And I agree with you there. I wish they had put the heat up front, and you gotta come with the heat, and then gotta let it slide, and then make it
Yeah.
all nice and smooth.
No
That's
one
what the
cuddles
ladies
prior to
like.
fucking.
That's what the ladies like, okay?
Right?
Remember, gentlemen, this Valentine's Day, come with the heat.
Yeah. No one cuddles prior to fucking. It's always after. That's all I'm saying.
30 seconds of fucking fury.
You got all excited there. Is everything okay?
Well, Mr. Graham,
Well, that's all
what-
we've been doing for the last 15 years is kicking the can down the road anyway, right? Whee! I'm on fire tonight. Woo! Woo, doggy.
Mr. Graham, what do we always need to do?
Always remember to drink responsibly.
There we go. We were talking about that in Soundcheck a little bit as well for reasons, and it was interesting. You'll all find out if you listen to it. If you listen to Patreon, if you're a Patreon subscriber, Sam, how do you go about doing that?
Ah, very simple, actually. It's patreon.com/DU Football Show, and share the love with us in the form of $5 a month.
Are you impressed with like just what a good fucking whore he is?
On the spot, too. Fucking off the dome piece.
All right, let's get into it. We open with a battle at the top and a battle for the M3. Both ended up being very one-sided for the home sides. Arsenal 3, Liverpool 1, Brighton 4, Palace 1. Graham, I'm going to try to really let this first game be yours because in recent history, this is a massive fucking win.
This is
And
our
you
third
just-
win in 24 attempts, I
and
think.
And
is
you
what I read.
and you just beat City earlier this season,
Yep.
and this feels bigger.
Yeah, definitely. So this was a massive monkey off our back, just like when we finally beat Manchester United. What was it, last season?
Right.
When that came up, this was huge. Something we haven't done for what seems like fucking ages.
Yeah.
And it was a perfectly executed game plan. It was phenomenal. The midfield of Rice and Jorginho was brilliant because Jorginho is smart and calm and relaxed and reads the game very well, orchestrates very well. So he allowed Declan Rice to go on the hunt
Rice can just go crack a bitch.
whatever he needed to do. And Jorginho had that space covered and then also called Saka in to help him. Right, I need you here. Or call, Martinelli in for the other side, or Havertz, I need you to drop back. Was just able to orchestrate to close up those passing lanes. We completely dominated the midfield.
Yeah. It was a completely one-sided first half.
Yeah.
Surprised there wasn't more goals for you, and then even more surprised that you guys just had a complete lapse of coherent thought on defense to give up that goal right at the end.
So there's multiple mistakes, but not to underestimate Luis Diaz's industry in that
Oh, he just
moment
didn't give
also.
up. He was an
He
engine.
was working very,
Yeah.
very hard. Actually, a couple of times this weekend in various games this happened. You know how defenders will try to hold somebody off or strikers will try to hold somebody off. On more than one occasion, the easiest thing to do is just back up, and then they're off balance and they fall. And
It
that's what Luis
happened
Diaz...
later that match to one of the best center backs in the business.
Excuse me. You're absolutely right. But when it only works if they're applying pressure back to you.
Right. Right.
Because if the ass end falls out of you, you just fall over.
Right.
And that's basically what Diaz did. He took a step back before he took a step over, and Saliba became off balance. But much like Virgil van Dijk in Martinelli's goal, both of them should have dealt with the initial ball to begin with, just headed away.
Right.
And neither of them did.
Right.
Which is unfortunate. And then just the calamity of hitting Gabriel's hand as he spins to turn and face. It goes in in our own net, obviously. It's just absolutely fucking weird shit. And at the time of the game, it's a gut punch, and you go, oh fuck, because that puts the wind in their sails. Yeah, that put the wind in their sails, and then you just, as a supporter, having seen this play out over like 2-0 at Anfield last year, we were up, ended up drawing 2-2 because we had a psychotic 8-minute stretch.
Yeah. Well, and they came out in the second half firing, which you knew they would. You knew Klopp was going to go.
Absolutely, well, especially with
boys, come on, let's fucking start
the
playing
manner
football.
in which it happened. Absolutely, but it was a comprehensive performance. We didn't let it get us down. We stayed together. We stayed focused, stayed organized. We weathered that 10-minute storm, and then we took it right back to them and controlled it again.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it was a great fucking game. Martinelli was super aware, obviously pushing, little nudge into Van Dijk to get him off balance, to put him into kind of Allison's path. Allison was unable to clear that ball. And then it just fell to his feet. He was able to tuck home. And then Trossard with a brilliant piece of single person industry to round, I think it was Robertson. Nope, sorry, he was on the right side. Would have been Gomez at the time because Alexander-Arnold was already off. And he was looking up the whole time to cut the ball back to somebody. Nobody was there.
Yeah.
And just decided to have a go himself. Just hit it as hard as he could. It took a deflection off Van Dijk, but Allison still should have done better, seeing as it nutmegged him.
So a couple of points here. You had already hinted at it a little bit. Jorginho was fucking brilliant.
It was fantastic.
He was the man of the match. He deserved
it. Deserved it. Absolutely deserved it.
Now, do you feel like, Jorginho is not the answer every game? It's got to be the right game, right? Yep. And you can't put him out there and have him run that much. It's just not going to work well.
Correct.
So that, and the other one, it finally feels like Kai Havertz might be understanding the Prem. He's starting to look like the guy from the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
This kind of havoc raising, not a striker, just behind the striker, but not really a 9, not really a 10, but this just kind of weird hybrid thing.
He got Konate sent off, essentially.
Yeah.
The wrestling back and forth. I mean, honestly, if I was a neutral, I'd be okay with a no call in that situation. They were both grabbing at each other. But because... What? Yes, please?
It was the exact same foul Konate did in the Merseyside derby that he didn't get a yellow card for and then immediately got subbed off. It was the exact same fucking foul.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's fine. He did in this game. That's all I care about. Fucking well done.
I'm not gonna be too grumpy about it. I'm okay.
But the second one's definitely a yellow. I mean, he blocked him off. He had a clear run in behind, and he stopped a counterattack. It's a professional foul and a professional yellow card.
Don't give the referee a decision to make.
Correct.
Don't
absolutely
give him
right.
The decision to make.
The post match I thought was very fucking funny.
It was
with the disrespect shown, which I'll come on to in our D-back section at the end of the show.
The almost brazenness of Van Dijk, and Van Dijk looked like a fucking clown on that second goal.
Oh yeah,
like a fucking clown.
Now respect to him.
Well, I gotta take responsibility.
No, I mean credit to him. I mean, how many people have come in and been like, I thought we were the better side and this, that. I mean, he did say it's my fault, it's my mistake. I need to take responsibility for it. And he didn't do the fucking Instagram apology, which I can't stay. I'm so sorry to the fan. I hate that. Yeah. It annoys the absolute piss out of me. He didn't do any of that. He just said, I fucked up. I got to take responsibility for that. It happens. I should have dealt with it.
But then he also just kind of blew off the game. They weren't really that great.
Yeah. But for the incident, that is his fault. And he did say that. And that's, more power to him for that. But for the rest of the game, when he was not singing our praises, which he should have been, and doing the gentlemanly thing, big surprise, the Dutch weren't a gentleman. You know a lot about that, wouldn't you? Catching strays, baby.
He was an Englishman, but it's just
he was just living in Holland, wasn't he?
Yeah,
that's right.
Safe to assume.
He was just living in Holland, wasn't he? Damn it! He picked up a lot from them while he was there.
Because, as they say, the Dutch. A literal people.
Yeah. But no, it was great. The whole afternoon was lovely. I loved seeing just everything about the entire thing for us was brilliant. I loved it. Oh wait, Liverpool finally got their first shot on target.
Yeah. The
and only shot on target.
The thing that for me, this match was no different than Villa beating City. It was an utter and complete domination.
Yeah, it's
And
huge.
the only reason why they got a goal was because you all fucked up, not because they did anything to
deserve
create.
it. Yeah.
They didn't have a shot until damn near close to the end of the game because they were never given the fucking chance to.
Exactly.
So, like, for me, Klopp should have done the exact same thing Pep did after being interviewed after the Villa game, which was just like,
They were just better than
they
us.
were perfect.
Yeah.
They were perfect. What am I supposed to do? They played perfect.
He said one time they were an amazing opponent. One time in the whole thing. And he just basically talked about how they missed. He was asked if they missed Mo Salah and
Yeah.
whoever else they're missing, Endo and
And he was
whatever.
like, well,
he goes,
we always
we
miss
always
people.
miss them. Whenever they're gone. I mean, you know how good they are. That's why you're asking me the question. We miss them all the time. And whatever, man.
Here's something that I want to bring up as an observation for that match. Surprisingly uncharacteristic for Liverpool. They essentially had a full-blown meltdown by the end of that game.
Yeah.
They were yelling at each other. There was a
awesome.
send-off.
was
Van
awesome.
Dijk, if they really wanted to look at it real hard on VAR, when he went over top, he definitely swung his foot and kicked Havertz in the head.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to look at that, they really could have, and that VAR slow-mo would have shown his fucking foot going right into Kai Havertz's head if they really wanted to see that. And it just looked like they had completely lost control. I don't remember a time under Klopp where that team has ever done that.
No. Well, you're welcome.
Ever. Like, it was
Glad we could provide Evertonians with such a welcome piece of
all the
Liverpool
credit. All the
history.
credit goes to you guys. It was a fucking brilliantly done game. And well, now here's the thing: it's now a 3-team race.
Yep.
And not for nothing, you drew Liverpool in their building, you beat them in yours, you beat City in your building.
Mm-hmm.
They still got to play each other, right?
We still
got-
have to play City again.
Right.
Arguably, it's at the Etihad,
but they both still have to play Tottenham. You have to play Tottenham. Liverpool has to go to Villa, which is not an easy task, right? Now, City gets Villa in their building, which should be better for them, but like, you've put yourself in a damn good spot. You really have. Now it's just like, don't fuck off against West Ham, honestly.
right? No shit.
Don't fuck off against Fulham. Like, don't fuck off against teams you should
Well,
fucking
and,
beat.
and that's exactly the difference, right? Liverpool are always going to try to go at you, which they did, which means they leave some spaces exposed, which we exploited.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between us and City currently, right this second, and we'll come on to them obviously at the end of the show because they played today.
Right.
They were able to break down that low block when
You haven't
Brentford,
been able
when
to.
Brentford played it. When West Ham and Fulham did it, we could not break down
Yeah,
that low
you
block.
could not break it down at all.
That right now is what's going to separate us. If we can't get over the line, we have to figure out how to overcome that 9 behind, 9 at the edge of the 18 that we haven't been able to figure out yet in the last 2 years.
Right. And
That's going to be our key. If we can figure that out, we can go on a run similar to City's. Nobody
Also-
will be able to stop us.
also, not for nothing, as we were talking about Liverpool's schedule, I know we're at the bottom of the table and they're at the top of the table. They got to come to Goodison for the next derby.
You think they could lose the league again at Goodison Park?
I would fucking love that. I would love that.
Well,
Especially,
if they don't win the league,
yeah.
it started at the Emirates.
Heard, but we're going to take credit for it. That's how it's going to work out.
Yeah, no, because y'all are glory whores.
What a walk in the
They have
park.
to take what they can, okay? It's been a hard year.
What a walk in the park for the Seagulls.
Making my way downtown, walking fast. I'm a seagull. Go fuck yourself.
It
It was utter complete dominance. This
it
game.
was embarrassing.
It was bad.
How
They kept cutting to Roy on the side. I felt so bad for it. It was like watching your grandfather be priced out by a younger man. Or a goddamn immigrant. I felt so bad for him. I felt so bad for him. He looked, for the first time to me, he looked old.
well and
Like proper old.
Well, and here's the thing, like, the first 2 goals were just wide the fuck open, way too easy. Just
Yeah.
way too easy.
And also both Brighton Academy graduates, which
Yep.
is just extra sting. Mm-hmm. It's, both of them boys are Brighton through and through.
Hey,
Obviously, Dunk's a bit older, but
Dunks was
came
so-
through at Brighton. Yeah.
Dunks was so easy.
Mm-hmm. So was Hinselwood's. I mean, both of them were
Every
fairly simple chances.
Fucking corner that goes to the back of the box just outside the 6. You know who's going to be there. It's one of the fucking big backs, and you know they're going to be in the air. Defensively, even if you can't get up there with them, your job is to nudge him. Your job is to disrupt him. Your job is to make it so he can't just do. It wasn't even a direct header. He did like a little loop right into the corner.
Yeah.
Everybody just went, look at that.
Look at that. There it goes. Look at that.
Just happy little ball going in the goal. Just like, and it just went from bad to worse. Like, we're going to get on to Elise, but Mark Gay went out. He left in the first half. You're just like, fuck, you are already minus Ducore. You've been, Eze and Elise have been
hit or miss the last.
At best for health. And then your captain and the anchor of your central defense. And it's not to say, I think Chris Richards will fill in just fine there. And Joachim Anderson is very good as well. It ain't your fucking captain. And when you are in a bad fuck way, like, and they are now officially in a bad fuck way.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, that was just evidence at the end of the game. Joachim Anderson had to be pulled back from the fans.
Yeah.
You know, they're over there yelling at each other, which I don't mind. A lot of people are like, oh, he's a professional, he should deal with it. That doesn't give you carte blanche to yell what the fuck you want from the stands.
Right.
I have no problem with that. Now, I have a problem with, like, Eric Cantona drop-kicking somebody.
Right.
It shouldn't become physical. I have a problem with Ron Artest running up into the Detroit Pistons
Right.
fucking stands and beating a fan up.
Right.
But I don't have an issue with them going over and voicing their opinion. There's been a clip floating around of Kieran Trippier doing it, you know, with some of their fans. And some of those guys were apologetic.
Right.
After he was like, do you know the injuries we fucking have? You know, and all that kind of stuff. And they were like, oh, we get it. Can we have your shirt? And he was like, fuck off. And he just walked away. But so, like, I don't have a problem with Joachim Anderson going over there and having a pop at him, because fuck that. I mean, it's a bit ridiculous. Now, excuse me. That's not to say that Palace's ownership, their front office, all the way down to really Roy Hodgson, as we come on to this Elise decision.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be a bit sour and not going in a great direction. I worry for Roy's job, basically. I think he may be the next manager sacked. And the reason I say that is because to Palace, going down would be detrimental. You feel like they're going to lose Elise and Eze in the summer.
Oh, absolutely they do. They're going to lose. They're going to lose Gay. They're going to lose Anderson. They're going to lose a lot of people.
And replacing that entire squad is not going to go well in the championship, I don't think.
I'd imagine they lose Mitchell as well.
They're probably going to need to replace him to get a little bit of a new manager bump and try to solidify their place in the Premier League. And I think that might cause them to pull the trigger.
So at halftime, they bring Elise on. He plays for exactly 9 minutes before he pulls up with a hamstring, which was exactly
the problem to begin with.
Now, we look at this and go, Roy, why are you putting him on the pitch? Why is he even on the fucking bench?
Well, so
why is he even on the fucking bench?
I also think it's fucked up for somebody at the top, right? We've discussed this many times. You share the credit and you take the blame.
Right.
You could tell somebody it's a desperate decision to begin with to put him on.
Right.
Just coming back from injury, if he's even truly back, which 7-9 minutes, whatever it was.
Well, and
doesn't seem like he's actually back from injury, does
he
it?
Picked up the knock in the midweek, and it's like, just no, he's got the It doesn't even matter if it's Derby. He's off. He's just not playing today.
Roy in the post match just threw the medical. They told me he'd be fine. Just threw the medical people under the bus. Turns out Fauci was right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the opposite of that.
Sattery.
He was the opposite of that. You know what I'm saying?
Owls don't give a fuck. Owls don't give a shit. They like honey badgers.
Like, nah,
they
fuck
don't
science.
care.
We're gonna put him on a bench. What? It just didn't make sense, man. It was so really weird to do that and to make that decision. And given those circumstances, you're not gonna come back. He can't do it on his own anyway.
No.
You're 3-0 down.
Yeah.
Away.
Yeah.
Brighton famously quite good at home.
Yeah. What are you going to offer?
What
are you
is
going to
actually
really
happen?
offer?
Yeah. It made no sense to risk him in that situation.
And
even if he was past fit, which 7-9 minutes, again, I don't think he really was fit.
No.
And then to just throw them under the bus, it basically hold your hands up and go, I'm not responsible for this.
Hey, why the fuck you put him on the pitch?
Is somebody under pressure, under immense pressure?
Yeah. Yeah, well, definitely.
It's sad. It's an old man backed into a corner that he should be on a farewell tour, and instead he's scraping to keep his job and clinging on. And it's sad to see because he's a quality, excellent manager.
Hey, he's one of the best of all time. He definitely did, especially in
And for
England.
what he did for English people abroad. I mean, English people have a terrible reputation, but they love him in fucking Sweden. They love him in Italy. He's coached in all of these various places and is a very well traveled and learned man.
Yeah, Jose said he's our boss.
7 fucking languages.
He's our boss.
Yeah.
He's our boss. Like that's who
Roy's
he
been
is.
around the game for ages. Obviously, he's ancient, but it's this deserves to be a goodbye, not a get the fuck out, and it's turning very quickly into a get the fuck out.
So a final thought. Palace to me starting to look a lot like fucking Leicester of last year. Mm-hmm. An awful lot like Leicester of last year.
And even less fun though.
It's
because
the
at least
building's
you have Vardy.
burning. The building's burning, and it's we're good. The dog, everything's fine. Nothing to see here. We're good. Everything's okay. Like, keep that shit up.
Yeah, but at least with Leicester, you had Jamie Vardy on the corner drinking a pint of vodka.
Right. Smashing Red Bull cans on his head.
It's like, at least it was fun. This isn't even fun.
And watching, like, Forrest at least has it together, and the right guy is healthy. And then you also have, as well, Everton is better than the record says, obviously because of the 10-point deduction. Like, and Luton ain't fucking going nowhere, nobody.
They're playing good football.
They're
right
ready to fight.
Oh, yeah.
So I think Burnley and Sheffield have already decided their fate, but Palace, fuck around and find out, man. Fuck around and find out. Yes, Mel, what do you got for us?
The comments are a little bit behind, but back to Roy. Brian, Greg Sideburns, don't fuck with Uncle Roy.
No, we don't want to, but it's not going well.
Infamous Shore Billy. This is my favorite. This is what made us giggle. Roy is so old.
How old is he?
He remembers playing with an inflated sheep's bladder.
That's pretty good.
Pretty fucking brilliant. Yeah, Sam, for you, is this starting to feel like Leicester of last year?
Yeah,
them?
no,
Like,
I completely agree with that. You're absolutely right.
But
It's more sad. It's more in a stark way. Like I said, at least Leicester were fun, and they had somewhat charismatic Brendan Rodgers. I mean, he's not exactly a stand-up comedian, but he's got at least a little personality.
Right.
We're watching our grandfather fucking suck at his job.
Yeah.
And then the players don't seem to care. Like, this hurts.
Yeah.
And I don't even like Palace. I don't like Brad either. Just want to slip that in there.
What about Jan?
Meh.
It's exactly what Jan deserves. We had a massive amount of goals. That's it. Here we go. Let's talk about matches. Newcastle 4, Luton 4, Aston Villa 5, Sheffield 0, Wolverhampton 4, Chelsea 2. Mr. Graham, 45 total goals over a Premier League fixture weekend, the most in the history of the Premier League, which has been around since the 90s. I do not believe it is the most in the league's history, though.
Probably not, because back in the 20s, people used to win 9-0 frequently.
Yeah.
So sometimes like standard sponsored stuff will do like special charity weekends where they're sponsored by something else.
Right.
This is like the Barclays took a week off, and this weekend was sponsored by Oprah. You get a goal. You get a goal. You get a goal. Because of those 45, there were only 4 multiple goal scorers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? One of them in this game, obviously, generic white man from the North, Sean Longstaff, who's giving Scott McTominay, other generic white man from the North, a run for his money with 2 goals in this game. You had, obviously, the Cunha hat trick. You had today's Phil Foden hat trick, and then Garnacho had 2 in the Manchester United game. So that leaves 35 other goal scorers, because I don't think anyone else doubled.
Richie with a brace.
Oh, you're right. Richie did have a brace. So that takes it down to 33. So 5 people had multi-goal games, and then 33 different goal scorers across the league for the rest of them.
Insanity.
It's fucking brilliant.
Absolutely insanity. And
It was absolutely awesome.
You want to talk about insanity? Newcastle Luton was fucking crazy.
It was wild. What a fucking great game. For the neutral, this was excellent. It had everything.
Both teams came back from 2-goal deficits.
Yeah. It was awesome. No, Luton did not.
Yeah, Luton went up 4-2, and
No. But Luton didn't come back from 2. They
were down 2-0.
They tied it.
No, it was they were down 2-0, and they came back and made it 2-2. They went up 4-2, and Newcastle came back and made it 4-4. Both teams were down by 2 goals at one point.
I don't think so. I think Luton tied it up.
Shore Billy says Luton was down 1
1-0.
twice.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
They were down 1 twice.
Okay, I thought it was.
They tied it up, and
2-0.
then Sean Longstaff again.
Okay, gotcha.
And then-
My apologies.
Yeah.
My apologies.
But I mean, talk about the roller coaster of emotion in a football match, right? Mm-hmm. So if you said to Newcastle prior to the game, and you said to Luton prior to the game, give you a 4-4 draw here. Newcastle would be like, fuck you, I'm not doing that.
Right.
Luton bit your hand off for it.
Right.
Right? Then you go into the game. Obviously, Newcastle takes the lead, peg back. Takes the lead again, peg back. Then go 4-2 down. Then they start to rethink that pregame offer, and then it's deal or no deal. Right? And then Luton becomes disappointed because they blew a 2-goal lead.
Yeah.
So then it's like, no, fuck you, I don't want that.
Well, and especially
I want to keep how we're going. And it's just
especially
what a wild ride.
Going into the game, you knew Everton got a draw at the death to then make them be out of the relegation zone.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get the draw, you go up where you're over top of Forest now and sitting in 16th place,
Right.
only to find yourself fall back to exactly where you were at the start of the weekend.
Exactly.
You're just like, fuck.
It's wild. But it was such a fun game. But the resilience from Newcastle, the belief that they showed to get back into it, because going 4-2 behind in the manner in which they did, giving up a penalty,
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. It was a VAR penalty too, I believe.
Yeah, it was a VAR penalty.
The contact began outside the box but continued into the box. So they almost gave
that's
like
why
a
they call it.
They almost gave like a basketball-esque continuation, if you will, and awarded the penalty as a result of it. And it would be very easy to just fall within yourselves, let your shoulders drop, and go, "Oh fuck!"
Right.
But Kieran Trippier got it started, didn't let them do that. That he got a very good goal with his off foot, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fantastic finish to get that third, and really start that comeback.
Well, and then, of course, part of that comeback is somebody making their comeback onto the team is Harvey Barnes back from injury.
What a great goal that was as well. I mean, and that was the other thing about this. All 4 goals were all 8 goals rather were brilliant, including the penalty.
Right.
Because somehow the referee was not ready for the penalty to be taken, and they had to retake the pen. And Dubravka was like, there's no way he's going to do the exact same thing. He did do the exact same thing, and it was worse than the first time, and he still put it away.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Shore Billy says he's watching on Twitch. An amazing match, and he's happy as fuck with a point.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if I offered him that before the game, he'd have been like, nah.
Right.
I fancy our chances here, especially at home. You know what I mean?
We're at home against Luton. We're going to get them.
Exactly. But that's the ebb and flow of a football match. That's what happens, but Newcastle getting healthy at the right time. What they need to do is refocus and figure out how to become solid again.
Right.
Because this season's defense has been shite comparatively.
Well, to what
last
they were
season.
last season.
Right.
Yeah, last season they were
But
just
they've
a
got
fortress.
the same fucking players.
Right.
The only difference is Nick Pope's been out for 2.5 months.
Also, Botman was out for a lot of the season as
Fair.
well. So they just got him back, and that is a massive part
But
of
they,
that.
they
of
need
that
to
side.
figure that out. I mean, Botman played in this game. This is the most Newcastle's given up.
Well, he also just came back, too.
Well,
but
Listen, I'm not going to use the Elise excuse here, but
and sure Billy can correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of what I've been seeing from the Newcastle groups that I'm in, as a fraud, where I just sneak into the groups and be like, yeah, well, Alan let me into the Baltimore one because it's me. He's my brother from another. But there's been a lot of comments about, Dan Byrne, just getting worked on his side, playing outside back, and
because he's 9 feet tall.
Well, yeah, that's yes.
He can't exactly turn on a dime.
Yeah, and that has hurt them a ton in matches, particularly with faster players. An aggressive player or a physical player, he's able to manage because he's, again, 9 feet tall. But speedier players have been making him pay. Mel?
He disagrees with you. He says against Luton he would have taken the point because Luton knows Newcastle like Newcastle knows Villa.
Oh,
That's a dig at you, not at
It's a
me.
dig at me. Oh, I'm aware it's a dig at me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That he's
Oh, yeah.
actually not taking a piss out of me.
No.
I'm just the conduit.
Oh, I know. Yeah. And that's why
He fucking knows I'm right.
Oh, yeah. I know. I'm just.
It's just he saw his chance and he tried to take it.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm not giving you my phone number.
Yep. I mean, it's not.
But well done for shooting your shot.
I mean, what can I say? Villa just can't get hard for you guys.
So moving on. We're going to talk about Villa in a moment, but I want to start with this. Chris Wilder puts himself out there in the press. Now, we talk about when coaches say something outlandish, and when it's like Pep or Jurgen or Jose, you're like, they're just deflecting the attention away from their team, and this is what we're doing. When somebody like Chris Wilder does it, he gets heavily criticized for it. When he is doing exactly the idea, which is deflect the attention from my team, and he made the remark that refs aren't giving us calls simply because if we're in the championship next year, they don't have to ref us. And he put himself out there for his team, made himself look bad in the press for his team. All 11 players collectively at the start of the match walked into the center circle, pulled down their shorts, and took a shit in the middle of the field because that's exactly what they think of him, and it's apparently exactly what they think of their club. That was fucking pathetic.
It was
from
one of the
Sheffield.
worst displays from a football club I've ever seen in my life. But what I will say also, those referees do jump between divisions to referee games. So
they do.
will.
Absolutely.
But
but
what-
again, the only reason why he's doing that, it's the deflection.
Oh, yeah.
It is. He has put his neck on the line because Jose gets called colorful for doing that. Like to quote Bull Durham, you could have fungus on your shower shoes in the pros, and as long as you win 20 games, they'll call you colorful. Down here in the minors, you're fucking sloppy. Like that's like
They call you something else at Millwall.
yeah. But he puts his neck on the line for the team, knowing they are in such a bad way. And they
Yeah, but he doesn't do it in a fun way. That's the problem. Jurgen blames the wind. That's fun. Right? That's fun.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Jurgen
because it gives
definitely-
us idiots something to fucking talk
Jurgen
about.
definitely
He
didn't
actually
in a
Chris Wilder, you
post-presser.
can't just walk out and tell the truth. Like that's not fun. That's why you get in trouble all the time. Did you hear about? He went to see them at halftime, and the linesman was trying to wolf down a sandwich. I'm mad I didn't find out about it before we recorded on Thursday, but this happened midweek. Apparently, he went to go complain to the linesman about something mid-match, like during halftime, and went into the officials' changing room to talk to the referees. And he was like, and I'm sat there, I'm trying to make my point, and he's just eating a sandwich. I found it extremely disrespectful. No one needs to know the fucking details, mate. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to know that. Blame the fucking gopher they let run loose on the pitch. Like, do something else. Do something fun. That's how you deflect. That's how you get the newspapers talking about you.
Jurgen flat out said about an official one time, he's never played the game. He doesn't know how to ref. So you can't say that those guys, it's not all about the win. They have criticized officials before.
No, absolutely.
A
but
manager at a higher club gets away with more than a manager at a lower club. And I think Wilder knew exactly what he was doing.
Arteta paid his fine.
Yeah, but again, he paid a fine. What he is trying to do is he's trying to do a last-ditch effort to save this fucking club, and he put his neck on the line.
I'm not saying he's
and
not wrong either.
And the players fucked him. They fucked him.
Yeah,
they seriously
that's true.
just completely fucked him with the most lackluster, give a less of a shit fucking performance ever. Villa fucked, but it's also because Sheffield laid on their back and held open their legs and said, "Pound
Fuck
away,
me."
big boy." Like that is exactly what they. I mean, it was the most pathetic display of a match I've ever seen, and we watched Southampton get beat twice, 9-0. There you go, Kenny, just for you.
I was trying to work it into one of his comments as I couldn't figure out how to do it on one of the Facebook posts. But the here's the other thing too. I mean, in the sense that they haven't done themselves any favors either. Chris Wilder goes and gets a new goalkeeper during the January transfer window.
Gets injured right away.
Gets injured day one in training. Can't use him. Now Fotheringham knows he's not number one.
Yeah.
You just went and replaced him. Now he's got to play. I don't think he gives a fuck because
Yeah.
I think he was disrespected. Any chance that they had of staying up was on his shoulders this first part of the season, and his team let him down. He's made some fantastic saves. I don't think the problem was the goalkeeper.
No, it's the fucking team.
And then he asked to leave because they went and got somebody else. And Chris Wilder said, "I'm sorry, you can't go. We need a backup."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you just shot his confidence, kicked him to the curb, and then, oh shit, sorry, son, I need you. That doesn't help either. That's not fun.
Can't expect a keeper to make saves when the defense
When
and
the
midfield
defense
in
just
front of them
allows people to
literally
run right through.
Literally
Yeah.
just go, please, by
Here
all
you go.
means,
Right.
Go.
No, exactly.
Score.
They were a fucking bellhop instead of a doorman. The defense. It was terrible.
And this
they
is-
were just ushering people towards the goal.
And this is taking nothing away from Villa. Villa looked good. Villa looked fantastic.
No, they were excellent. You still have to put the chances away. You still
Right.
have to get yourself up for it because there's nothing worse as a competitor than when your opponent gives up.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
How do you stay focused?
how do you stay focused? Like, how do you not fuck it off?
It's also normally when you get fucking hurt.
Right.
It's normally when there's a red card.
I'd rather juggle 3 times in the middle of the pitch and then pass back to my goalkeeper with my head from midfield.
Right.
Because I can, because you don't care.
Right,
But
precisely.
they had to go out and do it, and they still went and did it. I mean, much like with Havertz's goal. Well, not goal, I'm sorry, with his shot and then Saka finishing. It was a little fortuitous, that first goal. Unlucky for Ollie Watkins. But the manner in which it hit the goalkeeper, it did well to come out and stop it, but it just fell off the post right, and John McGinn was the first one to react to it, much like Allison made that save and Saka was the first one to react. It was almost a carbon copy of kind of what happened.
What do you got for us, Mel?
Oh, I hate quoting infamous Shore Billy, but god damn it if he's got some good lines. And I actually agree with this. But Villa still only managed to get 5 versus a team that said pound away, which we should have gotten more goals on that.
Oh, yeah.
But we did dig into the differential. And he wanted to point out that they got 8 during the snuggle with the struggle.
So
what you're saying is that while a DU football show may not have done 5 at a time, Villa did.
The other thing I will say is
5 at a time, show title.
Villa is one of the oldest teams in the league system, period, in England. And when you reach a certain age, you can only manage so much.
Yeah, but that little blue pill keeps it hard for hours.
Again, Villa did the job they needed to do. They moved themselves back into 4th place because the minute you have any confidence in Spurs, they will figure out a way to fuck it off, which is exactly what they did at Goodison. That we'll get on to the next segment.
The 90 seconds short of being 5-0 up at halftime.
Yeah.
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 It's pitiful.
Yeah. It was.
And again, how do you get yourself up for it? How do you continue to motivate yourself to go forward the rest of the game?
Here's the pitiful stat.
I can't. It's terrible.
Here's the pitiful stat on Blades. They have 10 points. They had the same amount of points that Everton lost.
Yeah. That we've had docked from us.
Right. And it's official also through this stage of the season. They are the worst defense ever.
That's exactly what I was about to mention. And it's funny because the worst they can do, if they don't win another game or draw another game this entire season, they will have the same amount of points that the worst club ever, Derby County, had in the Premier League. They're likely going to find some points somewhere. You will accidentally fall into 4 points before the season is over.
I don't know if they will.
But the defense is so...
That's why. I don't know if they will, to be honest with you.
And if they will likely fire Wilder before the end of the season and go to a third coach.
Which I think it was a mistake to bring him back in the first place.
But honestly, if I was Chris Wilder after this,
I'd quit.
On today, Monday, I would have just gone, fuck it, buy me out of my contract. They don't want to play. I don't want to fucking coach them.
I don't need the money. Fuck you.
I'm done.
You know what he could have done? He could have beat Neil Warnock up to Aberdeen. Because you know who's getting unveiled as Aberdeen manager? Neil the Warlock Warnock.
Yes! Get in, son!
And that could have been Chris Wilder's job.
There's only one problem. I would have much preferred it to be Inverness, because then the lock.
Fair.
The warlock over the
that
with
Nessie swimming down below. The other thing about that though, there was a player once. This is pretty funny. There was a player once that said Aberdeen is the only place in the world where the seagulls don't land. because it's so cold that if they did, they'd never be able to get off the ground again. They'd just freeze. And famously, Neil Warnock loves living in Cornwall, which is on the south coast of England.
Yep, absolutely.
And nice and relatively temperate.
Keeping it going, Wolves, Cunha with the hat trick, despite the fact that Chelsea actually went up first.
Yeah, another cold Palmer.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This is the celebration.
Yeah.
But he's cold, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another one of those, and then Chelsea just fell the fuck apart. And now, granted, Wolves were a bit fortunate, a couple of deflected goals from Cunha as well. But I thought Pedro Neto was excellent. I thought most of the Wolves team was excellent, to be honest with you. 8 Norwich goal. This is what I want to bring to the table because Chelsea's boring to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
What was that celebration where he looked like he was trying to play swords with Pedro Neto? That was weird.
Oh,
Forehead to forehead, and then he very obviously thrusts his hips forward and tried to
sword fight,
tangle tips.
crossing streams.
That was weird. What are you doing?
Fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks. Nope, write it down.
It's no longer 5, it's fiddlesticks.
And Mateus Nunez, that's how you do a post-match interview, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He's just elated.
Mateus Cunha.
Or Cunha.
Yeah.
What did I say? Nunez?
Yeah.
He's the one that left Wolves for City, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry, Cunha. It was excellent. That post-match interview he had, he was just elated. He was like, I did it for my family. I did, everybody that's ever helped me to get to here. Only the 4th player that scored a hat trick as an away player at Stamford Bridge.
Really?
2 of the other ones are?
I gotta assume Terry.
No. Away players.
Oh, okay. No, Terry Henry, I assume.
Oh, no. Actually.
Uh-huh.
Robin Van Persie.
Mm-hmm.
And Nwakno Kanu.
Okay. Very good.
That was that famous, it's on every goal compilation for the Premier League,
Mm-hmm.
where he's essentially on the end line and still bends it in. That was his 3rd.
Nice.
Kanu, the Nigerian master. Loved him. He was so good.
He's no
So
yak.
good.
Feed the yak and he will score.
Goddamn right.
We love us some yak. We do have to talk about Chelsea here a little bit in the regards of like Caicedo gets subbed out, looks dejected. Honestly, looks completely defeated.
I mean, you saw the 2 sides of that coin.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly weighted ball for the first goal, and then 20 seconds later, 2 minutes later, whatever it was, dallied on the ball for so long they just got to take it off of him, and Wolves marched right down.
Yeah,
Like it was his fault. That second goal was his fault.
100%.
He completely put his team under the cosh, and this is what you get. I mean, granted, he's only 22, 23, whatever he is, but you spend that base of midfield costs £200 million.
Yeah, it's here's kind of the thing. They're in the midst of the quote rebuild, but it doesn't feel like they're really actually fucking building anything.
No, and especially this performance coming off of the pseudo winter break.
Yeah.
You've had a ton of time to work with the players. It didn't get any better.
Yeah,
Todd Bowley. So I many of you don't know this. I used to work for UPS.
Mm-hmm.
I did a seasonal route driving for them, and the union wanted to hire us, but management held us off. Fucking scabs. Anyway, I could have been making $36 an hour as a 21-year-old. It would have been great.
yeah, it would have been fabulous.
But
you would have pissed all that money away.
Oh, easily. But I was union, so I could do whatever I want. But they would have been union, so I could have done whatever I wanted. Communism. Anyway, the that's pretty good, wasn't it? But there was this particular woman on my route I had that lived in Silver Spring. My route was Silver Spring. There was this particular lady that was addicted to the Home Shopping Network. And Todd Bowley is the football version of that woman. 7-8 packages a day.
Yep.
Players.
Yep.
Way overpriced. Ultimately, it's just shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It
They're
really
just
is.
buying shit.
And for Chelsea, particularly at this point, like that's the team directly around you in the table.
Mm-hmm.
They walked into your building.
I told you go fuck yourself.
And they kicked your ass, man. They smacked you in the face. I mean, if it wasn't for fucking Sheffield being so miserable and such a pathetic performance, this would be the team we're talking about.
I just completely folded. What's amazing to me is, yes, they're young and all these players they bought are, we're still trying to gel, still trying to all that bullshit. They have 39-year-old, very decorated, very respected, commanding Thiago Silva there. And he can't even fucking figure it out.
Yeah.
These kids would have had his poster on their wall.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even respect the people that are around enough to fucking stop Mateus Cunha from scoring.
And now the rumblings are?
Didn't bring to the game not just the basics of football, I believe the basics of life.
You know what sucks for some clubs?
Mm-hmm.
Is what's good for us isn't necessarily good for your club. Put it straight, my mates. Sign them up.
Like we say in Portugal, bread is bread and cheese is cheese.
This is fucking brilliant.
Rounding out the rest of the league in not so. Oh, so that happened. Everton 2, Tottenham 2, Burnley 2, Fulham 2, Bournemouth 1, Forest 1, United 3, West Ham 0, Manchester City 3, Brentford 1. Mr. Graham, if somebody hadn't said on injury time, you know what? Tottenham loves to fuck it off at Goodison. I see a draw here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be me. I said that.
You
Just
did.
want to remind you of that.
You did. You're
I said
right.
that.
You're right. And I included that in my bet slip here.
Yeah.
In my losing
Yeah.
bet slip.
Yeah, no problem. You should probably listen to me.
But you know what? I am
Didn't
going
listen to me your whole fucking life.
I am.
I'm giving you sage-like advice your entire life.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring up that one particular time.
Yeah, but Sam. That was your counter to it. I'm not going to finish what you said, but you went, yeah, but Sam.
She's moving. Don't do it. Don't bring it up. You know what? Out of respect, I'm gonna let you two, Neto and Aunt Nori, and I'm gonna sit this one out. You two just wank each other off for a minute.
I think one of the big things, of course, you're going to talk about right off the bat is Richie's brace. He's gotten real hot and he's scoring good fucking goals. Both of those goals were well thought out, put himself into good positions, especially that first one. Most strikers would just kind of run at goal, and he did this like kind of little step off thing and just put himself in that blank space right at the penalty. And it was the easiest ball in the world to put in the net. Like all he had to do was put himself in the right space. And that second ball, I mean, James Madison, I mean, just the daftest little fucking touch, and puts that away. And it was I also, as a supporter, respect the fact that he didn't celebrate. Like, he was classy about it. And even on the second one, he just kind of put his shirt over his face, almost like, fuck, I'm sorry, guys, I did it again. And you're like, it was a brilliant fucking goal, Rich. Yeah.
Oops, I did it again.
Kind of hard to be bitter at both of those goals. They were pretty fucking great, weren't they, John?
Yeah, man, that first goal is what had hoped to see him finish the last 3 years. In fact, that was such control and such perfect. That's a perfect strike. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. And then as far as the celebrating, I did enjoy it. The first goal, he kind of ran off like, I'm gonna go slide on my knees, and then he went, oh shit, I actually forgot where I am.
Gotta stop. Gotta be a good boy.
Gotta be cool. You know. Yeah. Very happy for him. Not so great for us.
Yeah, precisely. Now, Mr. Graham, you are a poker player, and John, you are also a poker player.
Of varying degrees of success.
So, Vicario.
I love that you just compared Gel's poker career.
Yeah, right? He's played at fucking the World Series, one of the events.
Yeah.
I play with Dave on Sundays. No disrespect to our boy Dave. It's a decent quality in that group, however.
Yeah, just send the invite over whenever you're ready.
Yeah. I'd like to have a chance at keeping my money. So, no.
So
all the money John gives us, just gonna give right back to him.
Yeah, no shit. And where he lives, it'd be 6 p.m. He'd be fine. He wouldn't be drunk yet. That's not even fair.
Sean Dyche obviously watched the film and saw the Manchester City FA Cup match where Vicario got pushed off the ball on a corner kick and they scored to win the match. And he had decided, we have a game plan. We are going to fuck with Vicario. And then what I was getting to, the thought process of a poker player, what Vicario did that entire game is what poker players like to call a fucking tell. That was the biggest tell. Like, okay, just get in his fucking way. He does not want to fuck around with it. He wants zero part of you fucking with his personal space at all.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Well, he's been very... he started to take to the shithousery a little bit. Because on Thursday, which I didn't hear about till after we recorded, of course, which is annoying, the bust up at the end of the game between Brentford and Tottenham, where Ivan Toney was having a go at Vicario. Vicario looked at him and said, as they're kind of walking off the field, bet you didn't bet on that result, did you? When they won 3-2, I think it was.
Oh, shit.
So, like, if you're going to fucking dish it out, though, take it. Don't be a bitch. Don't be a fucking bitch.
And he...
Be able to take the shit. The amount of abuse I get in these comments is absolutely ridiculous. You don't see me sitting here complaining.
Every single team in the Premier League, take note, put 2 people around him on every single corner. And in the second half, he started to get some. But the reason why he was getting some is because Everton started to change their formations and pull people because they knew they were in his fucking dome.
Oh, yeah.
They knew it, man. They knew they were running around up there fucking rent-free. And it was... would have been nice to see Dom get credited with the goal, but Dom headed it off of
Jack Harrison. Yeah.
So Dom doesn't get the goal, but you kind of feel like that might have broken the duck for him in a way. You feel like he got himself there. Like he was right at the finish line with it.
It goes in if Harrison's not there, so it's as far as he's concerned.
It's very similar, actually, to Sinistera and at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
With Kluivert.
Yeah, the ball was going
in.
Kluivert just knocked it in.
It just knocked it, just finished the job. I mean, when Kluivert touched it, it was halfway over the line.
Yeah.
But, same kind of thing. And Kluivert even apologized for it.
Yeah.
But, you're absolutely right. I think Dom will take a lot of confidence from that. It came at him quick. He had to adjust his body and get the header down. But, it really, honestly, is one of the simplest of headers he'll ever score. He was 2 feet out, maybe.
But again, we've been talking about him being cold lately. That's exactly what you fucking
you can
need.
score with your
like,
fucking
that's the
nutsack backwards. And as long as you're a striker and put the ball in the back of the net, it breeds confidence.
I've been saying for the last couple of weeks he was going to score with his dick. Like, that's how he was going to finally break the duck, was by scoring with his dick.
More likely than with his feet.
Yeah.
He should have played fiddlesticks. And his dick would have been prepared.
Breaking the duck by scoring with his dick.
Yeah.
I heard that correctly?
Yeah, you heard that
Cool.
correctly. That can't be a show title, though, unfortunately, but Fiddlesticks can be, and everybody will know what that means.
You know what breaking a duck with your duck is?
What?
It could be a meme. Taylor Christian.
Taylor Christian, just go get him.
See what Houston's doing with some poultry this weekend.
I didn't see the picture, but
waterfowls.
I was gonna say I haven't seen the picture, but I've already
fuck off.
I was gonna say I know we've already gotten Piper Perried. Like I haven't seen the photo directly, but I know Piper Perry has happened.
We didn't even say. Oh, I did.
Happen.
I did say that.
Yeah,
didn't I?
you could sense that Piper Perry was gonna happen.
Shit.
And then of course, this second half really got kind of ugly. Honestly, it got a little sloppy, a little chippy. I'm amazed that they decided to give Ben White a yellow card for stalling in your match, because the PGMOL has decided to ditch that rule now, because anybody who takes their time on anything else, they
most
don't,
of the time, yeah,
right. It was like the contact in the box. If you initiate the foul looking for a foul, they were giving out a yellow card. They did that for about the first 5 matches of the year, and then they stop. Or if you surround the ref, you're getting a yellow card. They did that for about the first 5 matches of the year, and then they stop. Same thing has happened with this fucking delay of game bullshit. And it was like, for Spurs, why aren't you going for the win? You are the better team. Right now, Everton's causing you problems. They're making it ugly, which is exactly what I expected Everton to do. But, like, why aren't you going for the win? And then the subs that Ange ends up making are all defensive. getting all the attacking players off the pitch. Like,
Well, he put that-
you're trying to survive the 1-goal lead.
He put that John Lennon looking dude on.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yep.
I don't know his last name. He wears Brian on the back
Yeah,
of his shirt.
I think it's like Brian Hill. You're
Yeah.
like the most generic name ever. And you go, no, I'm Brazilian. I'm Brian. Like, Brian Hill. No, I'm Brian.
A B with a Y, with a Brian with a Y.
Make a wrestling reference. He runs out of the field and goes, RVT.
Yeah.
Starts pointing at himself. It's just fucking ridiculous.
I mean, just put him walking across a crosswalk and call it a day because he looks like one of the Beatles. He looks like a stunt double from the movie. He's the one that actually did the drugs in the movie.
Yeah.
When they had the drug scenes.
Right.
He sat there and took the drugs, and then they filmed that, and then carted his high ass off, and then Paul McCartney was there writing the song. Like, it was, you know what I'm saying?
So just for me, if this is a team that last week when they moved into 4th place, everybody was gushing over and going, are they in the title?
Because they love
They
Ange.
showed you exactly why they're not in the title
Because
fight.
they love Ange.
Like,
That's
showed
why
you.
everybody's gushing over them. They love Ange.
They came right back and showed you exactly why they're not in the fucking title
Right.
discussion. They're in the discussion for Champions League. I really think, and they've got guys with
And Villa's going to pip them to it, I think.
when they get Son back and they get Basuma back, that's big fucking pieces to that team, and they're really in about an individual performance. Van der Ven was fucking ridiculous. The amount of times he ran
tracked back
down
on
players,
Jack Harrison.
and he did that.
Jack Harrison's rapid.
And he did that 4 or 5
Yeah.
times. Like, he had a massive game.
You're absolutely right.
And then to just watch it, I mean, good on us. We were putting the pressure on. We had established what we were going to do, which was fuck with Vicario. So none of us should be surprised that we bundled one over the line at the end. Like, yeah, of course we did. Of course we fucking did. Because you let us. In fact, you fucking dared us to.
I like
Essentially how I felt about it.
Branthwaite's. You saw what it meant to him.
Yeah.
It was what a just raw emotion celebration. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was
Loved everything about it.
fucking incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, great to see him get a goal because he's been one of the bright spots for Everton, I think, this year.
absolutely.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody on the
few.
field deserved a goal, it was him. He was fucking. He played his dick off in that game.
And one last thought, because we've talked about this game for an OSO match way
Way
longer
too
than we
long,
should,
yeah.
is would it surprise any of you to hear that Idrissa Gana Gueye is really fucking good at what he does, and he's really kind of important to this team? For all the people that want to shit on him all the time, it's like, that game is exactly why you have that guy.
He was as effective as fucking Declan Rice was
Yeah.
at just hoovering up counterattacks.
Just
Hoovering up counterattacks. Any ball, if it was a millimeter off, Idrissa Gueye was onto it
and
and
the
broke up
amount
that
of,
play fucking brilliantly.
the amount of tackles he had in the game. I think he had 9 fucking tackles in the game. He's just fucking everywhere. He
Yeah.
just beat the shit out of their midfield, and it's the. I'm sure you've heard it from like the different podcasts and Everton supporters. All they want to do is talk about the fuck up he had against Arsenal, like, and how he's the worst player ever. And it's like, he's exceptional at what he does, and I love Onana and Garner, and they could be the future. I think Onana gets sold, but you need a no-nonsense, fuck-around veteran. Like, not good. Like, I'm going to hurt somebody. I'm going to win every ball. That's exactly the guy Idrissa Gueye is. It's just what he is, and you can tell they are a completely different team with that guy on the pitch. Absolutely every single time.
He's completely part of the spine.
Yeah.
In that same vein, Decore is greatly missed.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Completely different.
He could have
God, yeah.
choked Vicario, would have gone over great, I'm sure. The other thing, in terms of Idrissa Gueye and naysayers, he is a little bit older now, obviously, so maybe he's lost half a step or something. That's fine. Y'all watch them much closer than I do, of course. But this is like some of the, we talk about Portsmouth every so often, and don't know how many players have gone from Portsmouth to Real Madrid, but we know of 2. And it happened in our lifetime
Right.
that we've been following fucking football.
Right.
I'm not sure how many times Everton has done business with PSG, especially post Qatari investment.
Right.
But remember, that's who bought him. There was
Right.
no intermediary.
Yeah, that's who bought him.
That's who identified that talent and bought him. Now, ultimately, they didn't use him in the correct way. I think it was Pochettino. actually was a manager at the time, which Chelsea should have known. But again, Todd Bowley is that lady from Silver Spring ordering off the QVC.
You gotta have it. Be buying. Like, you have to have it.
But it's like the Progressive commercial. Is my name on TV? Is my voice on TV right now? Just buying shit so you can talk to the people online or on television. But that's how good he was. He went to one of the most elite clubs in Europe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can't knock that just because he may have lost half a step. He's still a quality fucking footballer. And by my estimation, his game at the weekend was brilliant and on par with some of the best. And in that midfield, y'all aren't particularly good this season.
Yeah.
He has a lot of fucking work to do.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had Onana for stretches.
Yeah.
And he's having to do it all himself.
Yeah.
And to level any criticism at that man, I think is unfair personally. And that's the position I fucking played.
Yeah.
As well. It is a bit of a no glory.
It's the thankless job. It's the most thankless job.
But for
ever.
somebody to criticize him, I think is fucked up.
Yeah.
But don't thank him. We don't need your thanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But don't fucking criticize him.
Right.
He does a goddamn good job.
The one last thing with this, and then move on to the next game, is the year Leicester won the title. Konate led in passes and controls and least amount of takeaways. Like every statistic that meant something in the middle of the Conte led every single statistic in the middle of the park that a midfielder could fucking have, right? Who was second to him in every single statistic? Idrissa Gueye.
Oh, yeah.
At Villa when Villa went down. Like a team that was getting relegated. He was number 2
in all of those categories.
Behind the guy that won the fucking league.
Yep.
In every set. Not any of the big 6 guys. He was number 2. Like, stop shitting on him. He's a hell of a fucking player.
At that time,
he's also been Senegal's captain forever for a fucking reason. Like, the guy might know how to play football.
At that time, for us, I think that position was being filled by Granit Xhaka, and he would have been second in every statistical category, except he got sent off every other game, so he wasn't on the field for a third of the season.
We were talking about Fulham and how they've been having a hard time scoring goals. You get a 2-goal lead.
And we've also talked about how sound they are defensively.
And they fucked it off, man.
And what I want to know, from a goalkeeper's perspective, is what the fuck Bird Leno was doing. Did he think he was a bird?
Yeah.
There was no fucking way he could get to that ball. Why are you even attempting to take a step off your line?
Just stay home. Stay home, you save it. Stay home, you save it.
I mean, what did he not notice until he took 3 steps and, oh, that's 6 feet over my head?
Yeah. Whoop. Oh, look at that.
I don't know the percentage of soccer players that can dunk.
Another happy
basketball.
Another little happy little
But
ball.
even if he could, he wouldn't have fucking got to that.
Yeah.
What is he doing? Yeah, Fulham, thanks for your business. We appreciate the $17 million.
Clearly, he had a Red Bull and just thought the
Thought
commercials were
thought
true.
he had wings.
Yeah. No, only
They didn't even flap at it, though. They didn't even try. He went out and was like, whoops.
And unfortunately, here's the kind of the truth that can be said about Burnley. Great, you won't be the worst team in the league this year.
Yeah, they're shit though.
You'll be the second worst, but fortunately for you, there's Sheffield, and Sheffield's just that fucking god awful.
Hey, you know what the worst part about this is, which makes it even funnier in full circle. We love a piece of closure around here, right? Love a full circle moment. Chelsea lost 4-2. Fofana scored the 2 goals for Burnley. Mm-hmm. So if Burnley didn't have him, they would have lost 2-0.
Yeah,
essentially, right? If we're gonna just go down to the ledger, he's on loan from Chelsea.
Yep. Yes, because they got too many guys.
They could have also had a 4-4 draw, but they didn't. Because they loaned this gun out.
They load him out.
Also have remember I told you about one of my Korean store owners and the fun, like, kind of quirky thing I noticed about immigrant families sometimes when the ladies step off the boat at that time, that's the style that they stick with. Right. And I just happened to notice it because this particular store owner's wife looks like an 80s glamour model.
Okay.
Right? It just still. And I've seen her in person recently. Floral button-down shirt, spandex. It's like, wow, you're out of 1987.
Glamour shots.
Exactly, 100%. It's brilliant, right? I am also here for, and I noticed this during, remember Men of Honor, the movie with Cuba Gooding Jr.? I don't know what it is, but I think he was about 28, 29 when he made that movie. But black men with a mustache instantly ages you 10 years.
Right.
Black don't crack.
Right.
But if you only have a mustache, you look 10 years older.
Heard.
Don't know why.
Got
you
it.
just do. Fafana, I think, is about 26. Looked 42 years old. Just has the mustache. It's brilliant. It's fucking I'm here for it. It's fucking brilliant.
magnificent.
It's so good.
We already talked about Kluivert kind of stealing away the goal there and get that early lead.
It's just so weird how many mirrored things happened this week also.
Yeah.
You know,
very
like
much
we
so.
talked about the McGinn and the Osaka goal.
Yeah.
With the save being made and then them just reacting first to the situation. And then here you had exactly, the same thing with the goal being stolen. It was very strange.
And Forest figure out a way, and this is actually a real good point for them because at the Vitality, the Cherries are fucking good.
Yeah.
They're real
I
good.
mean, it was a moment of brilliance from Hudson Odoi. That was fantastic.
Oh, a gorgeous shot.
Fantastic
Jesus.
goal.
Not even just the goal, how he got the ball, made the move across, found the
He did very well to keep the ball in that situation. Absolutely
all
right.
Of it
Yeah.
was perfectly executed.
We
on
talk
his
about
side.
like a goalkeeper making themselves big, quote unquote. That ball was bouncing between two players. More often than not, the defender comes off with that.
Yeah.
But he made himself big enough that the defender's touch could not get around him, and actually the defender took himself out of the play in doing so. Gave a little drop of the shoulder. The next defender that was stepping up was left in his wake, and then just to dig it out from under his body in the way that he did and find that corner was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. And
That's what we saw at Chelsea that we thought he's going to be the next way. That's why he got called up for England, and that's what we haven't seen from him in probably 2 years now. And he's finding his feet, and it's great.
And for me, results like this is what's going to keep Forest up again. Yeah, I think, and you got a Wonyi back, which is massive, and you got a Longa back, which is massive. Feel like when you look at all the teams down and around there, I think Forest and Everton are kind of level. They're kind of the same side, but they're both, I think, better than Palace. And and at the
I
rate,
do really worry for Palace, man.
and Fulham, I think the defense is strong enough, but they're not scoring goals. So I still think like Everton and Forest can figure out ways to get wins. And again,
Well, Wonyi's back now as well, which is huge for them. And
Luton, I don't feel like Luton's going anywhere. I do think Luton could ultimately be the team that goes down because you just are asking so much of them.
But
as a club
of those three clubs that came up, and even mentioning Palace, mentioning Forest to an extent over the last, say, 60 days or so.
Yeah.
Luton are playing better football than both of those clubs.
Yeah.
They're getting more results than both of those clubs.
Yeah. So I look at all those
And we
teams
didn't mention it. Adebayo scored again. Fucking absolute, just on fire.
Yep.
On absolute fire, that kid.
Looking at how that all is kind of grouping up, it's like you really start to fear for fucking Palace because you watch what, Everton gutsy draw on the at home against the top six side, and then, Forest a gutsy win in a gutsy draw in a very hard building to get a draw. Fulham, at least the defense is there, right? And the same thing applies to to Everton, that they also don't give up goals. Remember, the team that leads the league in shutouts in this league right now is Everton, right? Like they have the most shutouts, but you look at all of it, and just Palace starts to fucking scare you, man.
It makes you nervous. It
really
really does.
starts to scare you.
Especially if they don't make a change soon. I mean, I honestly believe they need fresh blood.
But even if they make the change, if those guys aren't healthy, they're not going to win
that's
games.
fair.
They're just not.
That's fair.
Like they aren't.
That's a fair point.
And muscle injuries like a hamstring fucking hang with you.
Yeah, for sure. Ask Michael Owen.
Yeah.
Don't ask him anything else. Just that. He has some very controversial views on other things. To be completely fair, he's also fucking duller than Sheffield United. God God bless it. He's a bore on Twitter. He's only ever seen 5 films, apparently. Michael Owen. Just done like films. He's only seen 5 of them.
I mean, it's better than Joey Barton's views.
Fair.
The only time I can manage to look at a Joey Barton tweet is when he talks about Everton because he's a boyhood Everton supporter. Any other time, it's like, oh shit, he's talking about fucking black people and women again. Stop it, Joey. Just
God
stop
damn
it,
it, he's
man.
starting to sound like Graham. Fuck. Every time I say something that has even the slightest potential of a misconstruction.
Yeah, I don't know. You go for it. I'm going to let you figure this one out on your own, stud.
Just let go. Just commit to it.
Anything that I say that could be slightly misconstrued as potentially racist,
Yeah.
I look over and look for approval. And most of the time, she's just going like this. Which, like the mustache joke from a few minutes ago, she was shaking her head, but Cole gave me the approval I needed because she was busting up laughing. And I really hope the camera caught her. in case anybody wants to try to come for my head. Because
Safely off camera.
if everybody remembers, I'm 37 and look like this. So that's a compliment. Okay. For what I was saying. Thanks, guys.
Keep
Y'all
going.
are brilliant. Anyway, we've the only
Next match.
the only one moment in this game that we didn't talk about, other than the other 2 moments that mattered, was the shocking fucking tackle from Philip Billing.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
Oh, yeah. That was.
All of us have done a little flick at the ankle to, trip the guy up or, professional foul, yellow card, fucking move on, whatever. No big deal. He's stamped on his Achilles.
Yeah, that was. I want to rip his fucking Achilles
And
off.
Hudson-Odoi has had Achilles problems as well. And that was just a fucking terrible tackle. That was absolutely ridiculous. Should get what? Go ahead. What is it? What abuse am I being hurled at me now?
Sure, Billy. Wait, he thinks he looks good for 37?
No, I think I look like shit. That's the point.
I thought he was my age, 48.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
sure, Billy,
why
here's
what
the
I said
question.
was a compliment.
Which one of us is older, me or Graham?
You dye your hair. It's not fair.
Bullshit.
Okay. Your eyebrows are on camera too, Mel.
Moving on. Something I think I'm starting to notice about United is the younger players are finally starting to gel and learn. And here you had the instance where it was Garnacho and Hoyland with
was
the
fantastic,
3
yeah.
goals.
Hoyland, 21st birthday also, by the way, that day.
I don't know if this is enough to, save Ten Hag at the end of the season. I feel like Ten Hag's going to be there till the end, but I also, yes.
Jose Mourinho button, please. Because this could also happen.
Didn't bring to the game not just the basics of football, I believe the basics of life.
I'm here to say, either one of them put it in my veins.
Now, I would say Chelsea more so than United.
But I think he's publicly said that he has unfinished business at United.
Wow.
Because that was the job he ultimately wanted.
Right.
Always.
Right.
Also, love the speculation.
Sir
Xavi
Alex was one of his
Of course.
longest, most bitter rivals, and to go do it at
but
the
also
club.
mentor that he respected.
Yeah, he
Not
respected
mentor,
him
but
immense, yeah.
he, obviously followed his career and learned from him. I also loved all the speculation because remember he started his career as an assistant coach at Barcelona. Mm-hmm. Xavi recently did the Klopp thing and said he's stepping down at the end of the season. The day after he was relieved as AS Roma manager, Jose Mourinho was in Barcelona. Didn't say a word, didn't talk to the media, didn't do anything. He has a house there, I believe, still. But all the papers went, could he be the prodigal son returning home? Loved everything about it. He's just doing the rounds to fuck with people. And it's brilliant.
Oh yeah, he just wants everybody to look at him.
I love everything about it.
He loves people talking about him.
It is fantastic.
There's really not a lot more to say other than are we surprised West Ham didn't score a goal? Like in a weekend where only 2 teams don't score.
I'd say
We're not surprised that one of those 2 teams is West Ham.
I would say yes because Manchester United have been leaky all season.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. And it's not like West Ham weren't without their chances.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I'm saying this. I think the only people that'll probably be more shocked than us in this room are the people listening. Onana was actually pretty fucking decent in this game.
Yeah, I know. Insane.
He made a couple of very good fucking saves. I mean, West Ham, Souček's header. I think Bowen had another chance. That just phenomenal reaction save. I guess that's what happens when you have a brief holiday back to your home country. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's Cameroonian, isn't he? He's Cameroonian, not Ivorian. I'm sorry. He's Cameroonian. Yeah, so he had a brief jaunt back to his home continent.
Yeah.
And rested because he only played one game out of the 3 he was there for.
Right, precisely.
Just got him refocused.
With United, only it's with United for me. It's show me. It's show me. Like, this is okay. Great, you got this one. Like, put together a consistent run. Beat Brighton.
Oh no,
beat Villa.
United aren't back.
Their next match is Villa. Beat Villa at Villa. If you want me to think you've got a real legit shot at 5th or 4th place, beat fucking Villa in their building this weekend.
United are not back.
Yeah. No.
Don't get me wrong. Get Ray wrong, because he's been saying that shit.
No, that's what they said back in October and November when they were beating Sheffield 2-1. They're like, we're back, baby.
The worst part about the entire thing is the only sensible Manchester United fan there is JB. The problem is he's irresponsible in every other opinion he has.
Right.
So I don't know that really makes up for it, to be honest.
Yeah, true. Well, and before you get too excited, Manchester United supporters, just remember, Luton has scored more fucking goals than you this season.
Actually, I think they may have. Oh no, because the 4. Yes, it's still true.
Luton has scored more goals than you this season. Fucking Mark Flecken. Stand up and be counted for, fucking son. Because, you got
this was Tim Howard versus Belgium.
Yeah, it was just everything.
This was amazing. What a goalkeeping performance. Still gave up 3 goals.
They score on just the most random fast break that I love how the reason why Mopé and Tony weren't offsides is because the ball came from a goal kick.
Which
like
I don't think that's a
rule ever.
I don't think that's a rule, is it?
It's so great. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you just never had
that the city defense had that big of a brain fart. You just go, okay, yeah, they are still human. Like a little. They can maze. But he made in the first half, he made 8 saves. 4 of them were brilliant diving goal saving saves. Like elite. Like Timmy was making a bunch of like kick saves in that Belgium game. Like he's like
he got hands to everything, flicking.
Full extended, flicking the ball over like you're just Jesus.
He was flicking that ball all over the place. Dare I say he was flicking awesome. Wow.
This is making more. That's a very old movie reference that you probably won't get.
Definitely won't get that. Was that even a talkie?
Johnny Dangerously. This is fucking more. It was their way of doing a PG movie with saying fuck the entire time, but they said fark the entire movie.
It was like, wasn't there an Eminem song that he did that? Feck. He did Feck.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is like the Irish version of fuck.
And then Phil Foden. Oh, hey. Kevin De Bruyne, Holland, I got this. Let Daddy show you how this.
One of
gets
them was
done.
a diving header.
Just Jesus. The kid's, you know what?
The kid's good. He's the heir apparent to Kevin De Bruyne when he retired.
This is the coming out party year for him. Like he's finally getting the playing time, and he has performed on a level like no other. He is going to be a massive piece to England in the Euros this year.
100%.
Like everybody always wants to talk about Harry Kane being the point guy. I wouldn't be surprised if Foden scores more goals than Kane in the Euros for England. I really would not be surprised at all because I would focus on Kane.
Well, I would because Kane is on penalties as the only thing, and him included. England have a lot of tricky wingers that would get a ton of pens. Yeah. So it would not surprise me if Kane still outscored everybody because he had 3 penalties in the group stage. You know what I mean? That's the only reason, though. But Phil Foden can do it all. I mean, some of his passing was absolutely phenomenal. Some of his close quarter play was absolutely phenomenal. The numbers lied in this game, which is is hard. The scoreline lied in this game because I thought Brentford were dangerous. They only had 3 shots on target, but at any moment, maybe it's just because of the manner of that goal that they did score.
Yeah.
But City looked dodgy on some of those long balls, right? And I think it was one of the Robbies after the game. Not Musto, the other one. Why am I forgetting his name? His last name. Not Robbie Musto, the other one.
Earl?
Robbie Earl.
Yeah, Robbie
Thank
Earl.
you. Couldn't remember his name to save my life. He said if he was Sean Dyche, he'd every single fucking goal kick, Jordan Pickford just be launching straight down the middle.
It's definitely going to be
It's
Route
just
1 football next week.
Fucking with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
this weekend is going to be
Because that
nothing
was
but Route 1 football out of Everton.
pitiful.
Yeah. Put it
Now-
up to the big fella.
I do think Ivan Toney could have been called for a foul on Nathan Ake,
I don't disagree with that
personally. I'm glad he wasn't. I understand the no call, but I think he was a bit aggressive in his backing into him, almost to the point of he was holding him back.
one. Right.
So I think they got a bit fortunate there. But, I mean, that's obviously a very soft underbelly of City and should be exploited. If it's not straight from the goalkeeper, it should be from a defender. Test them every 6-7 times.
Yeah, just-
instead of trying to play out of the back, hoof one. See what
Just
happens.
launch one.
Yeah.
Keep them honest. Now,
For one game and one game only, you should hire Sam Allardyce back.
Dyche likes to play enough Route 1 football as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Here, a final thought. Mopé obviously scores the goal and then goes into full-blown shithouse mode after that because that's what you expect him to do.
Of course.
I guarantee you there's a bunch of Evertonians that are like, oh, now you're fucking scoring goals. The reason why he's scoring goals is that's where he scored goals before because that's the system he plays under. That's where he's successful because you have a point guy in,
He was
Tony that brings all the attention. So settle down. He's doing what he used to do before he got sold to Brighton and then didn't do it and then got sold to Everton
he
and
scored
didn't do it.
a fair amount of Brighton, not as prolific as he did at Brentford. But at Everton, he joined a shit situation.
Yeah. It was
Under a manager, I believe he was brought on
It was
Frank Lampard.
Yeah, well, they signed him. They essentially signed him because we did not have a starting striker at the start of the season. We desperately needed someone.
But arguably, he was playing under a manager that shouldn't have been a manager in the first place.
Not wrong.
And the place was already toxic, and that, you can imagine, is a frustrating situation to enter and hard to settle in. I wouldn't necessarily hold that against him.
Mm-hmm. Hey, all I know is Brentford, just give us 15 million for him. We can call it even.
Sure money.
Not so sure these days.
I always love that sigh at the beginning of Shore Money Bit.
It is not so sure these days. It's starting to get a little bit annoying, and I need to stop the bleed. But I'm now down 947 smackaroos. I will get into my stuff momentarily because, Sam, you need to talk about yours.
All right. I missed and I don't care. I am down $639.
Big Sam's Lock of the
Initially,
Week.
it says Nicole, but instead, I'm going to defer to John. John, did you know that 16.67% of the time, it works 100% of the time?
I did know that, yeah.
That's sound math, isn't it?
16.66666.
And half of that time it works most of the time.
Yeah, see, my man gets it. International man of mystery knows. He knows what's up. Very simple. I bet on Jota to score, so he didn't score, and Liverpool lost. So, nah, I'm good, B. That's all I got for the couple losers.
Nice.
That's where them bets are just like, yeah, I'm all right losing that one. It doesn't hurt at all.
That's fine. I lost a couple real money bets on Arsenal this weekend, and one of my store owners is a big sports gambler. He's like, "Oh man, but how'd you do this weekend?" I was like, "I blew $15 on Arsenal. Don't care. That's a happy donation.
I'm like,
Thank you very much."
throw that
I had
money
us
away.
winning, but I had people that hurt us, like Jota having a shot on target.
Right.
We played so well, he didn't.
Yeah.
I'll fucking take that.
There was
take
one.
my $15 every weekend. Because that means we win the title at the end of the year. You know what I
It
mean?
was last year's bit where you kept just betting on City to win because you were like, if I miss this bet, it means they lost.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. All right. So I do have an email.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend, Pat's Pick It Away.
Real quick, if you looked on the closed group, I did post Pat's bet. He did send it to us. He just wasn't able to join us. So,
Yeah.
and tell
So
us
I
how
know
that went.
he lost the first one.
He lost the second one.
He did
too.
lose the second one as well.
Not enough corners.
I lost this weekend because of Villa
Yep.
on corners, on real money.
Oh,
2 corners, I would have hit 2 bets from actually because I had a total at over 8.5, and the game finished with 7. Y'all had 5.
Right.
I had over 5.5 and over 6.5 for Villa in 2 other bets. So if Villa had 2 more corners, I would have hit all 3.
there you go.
Fucking annoying.
That's why you suck at gambling.
Yep, pretty much. All right, so
Not good gambling.
thank you, Adam. So Pat brings to the table, and I quote, "I made some good bets last weekend that didn't pay off." Missing by 1 leg in both my parlays. Weren't they only 2-leg parlays anyway?
They were both 2 leg
Yeah,
parlays.
so you
yes,
missed
sir.
half of your shit.
So 50% of the time he was right 100% of the time. That's sound math. I
I'm-
endorse that.
So I'm down $2,150.
Oh my God.
I
don't
made
have a
some
button
good
for
bets
that.
last week. He said, yeah. For this weekend, I hope I could just pick some heavy favorites, parlay them, and win. Sounds easy, right? Okay. So let's go with City over Everton, Liverpool over Burnley, Spurs over Brighton. That ain't gonna happen. And Arsenal over West Ham. I'm going to try and get.
either.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to try and get back because we're at their place. They like to try and play sometimes at their place. We did this last season. We lost at the Emirates or drew at the Emirates and won at their place. Anyway, he go back to him. He says City over Everton, Liverpool over Burnley, Spurs over Brighton, and Arsenal over West Ham. I'm going to try and get back into this show competition and go 200 on this game to win $580. You guys have a happy Super Bowl Sunday. I'll be rooting for whoever I put my money on. To be decided. Talk next week.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
The fuck was that?
That's from Inglourious Bastards. It's
I haven't
Christoph
watched
Waltz.
that movie in years either.
All right, go ahead. No,
Nice.
what does your couple losers
All
say?
right, so my couple losers says, first it was seagulls, now it's a cock. Have I ever told you I fucking hate birds? Which I do actually fucking hate birds ever since I got in a fight with a one-legged crow. Do you know that story?
No, we don't have time for it. We're an hour 40 in.
That crow had seen some shit.
We're gonna get through this. 2 more shows to do.
All right, so I decided the way to stop my bleed was an 8-leg parlay rather. So I've got City to beat Everton.
9-way parlay.
Only 8, thank you. City to beat Everton with over 2.5 goals in the game. Liverpool over Burnley and over 2.5 goals in that game. I've got a double chance Tottenham or Brighton. There will be a winner and over 1.5 goals in that game.
Not good gambling.
Then I've got Luton over Sheffield United and Newcastle over Forest, and that will pay me on a $100 bet, 1,028 American dollars.
Get it the fuck together, Sam.
Counting for inflation under this cockamamie administration, that should pay me $1,500.
Hey, Houston.
Yeah.
How come
Saturday.
How come
Saturday.
you never press the other Adam button?
You dicks should listen more to Mel.
That one.
So
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I didn't bother to tell you. I'm taking 2 road favorites this week. Give me Arsenal and Newcastle to beat West Ham and Forest at plus 196.
Plus 190.
Yeah, I forgot to completely save my bet. I
Would you
talked
bet
all
50
this
cents
shit,
on it?
and then I never said my actual bet. So, yeah, that's it. Nice and simple. Try to just chip away at the deficit a little instead of trying to go for the home run. Instead of a
Swing for the fences, my friend.
9-way parlay.
Swing for the fences, my friend.
very good. You know what? We have, John.
What do we have, Big Sam?
We have a chicken.
Well, Kitty broke her losing streak with the Seagulls win and sits at 13-9. So this week, I gave Kitty Chelsea going to Crystal Palace. Now, we weren't aware of it until we got there, but Kitty was at the Annapolis Blues owner party today.
Yeah.
Yeah, wouldn't you know it? He was working with a friend of our show, Hiram.
She Kitty identifies as a woman.
Wouldn't you know it? Kitty was working with a friend of the show, Hiram.
Yeah, well, you said he for Kitty.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Go back
No,
and
you can't
I'll
prove it.
sound check. You won't. So
Cannot
you
prove
just
a
said
damn
he.
thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, wouldn't you
Excellent
know
cold
it?
reader.
She's going to edit it out, Sam. You know
Nah.
this.
We're gonna be too late. Nah.
Could be so few edits tonight.
Now she was helping. Fuck you. She was helping Hiram on how to cold read her betting segment better. Besides being an integral part of the Blues, he's no longer an integral part of the Blues front office. Young, hot freshness now always supports Chelsea. So clearly, Kitty sees a Chelsea win over the Eagles. And Hiram said I could mention it.
Go for it. Go ahead.
Hiram this is his last week with the Indianapolis Blues. He done fucked up and got himself fired. No, not at all.
Got a
100%
promotion.
not at all what happened. He is now going to work in the
Marketing department for
Of
DC
DC
United.
Hey, well done.
yeah.
Got himself.
But he's still going to do the podcast, so that's fine.
Good on him.
Well, he's now going to sit in the parking lot and drink with us because he ain't got to fucking work.
Well,
for
you know what he is
the
going to do,
Indianapolis Blues
too,
games.
because of where he is.
Huh?
Get an old DU sponsorship on one of the advertising hoardings.
There we go.
Or an interview with a player or four
Oh,
or
I
a
looked at
manager.
We've already got the player lined up with Jacob Merle.
Yeah, I looked at Hiram. I go, so what you're telling me is I'm meeting Dean Smith this summer.
Yeah, I'm talking about a seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Dean Smith coming in here. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
Messi is
he's
coming to
Charlotte.
town.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, Messi's coming to town.
at some point,
Hiram to
hook it up.
Who?
Yeah.
The greatest footballer that's ever lived. All right. Yeah, he wears pink, and men shouldn't do that.
So, Shore Billy was wondering if anyone had to do Malort tonight.
No, it was a no Malort Monday.
Normally it is, but we do have a special guest in studio.
Oh, have you
John,
ever
if
had
you-
Malort?
I have once in Chicago. They welcomed me.
Have
do
you
you remember-
had
do you
pumpkin
remember
spice
it?
I
Malort?
have not had pumpkin spice.
Have you ever had barrel aged
Barrel
Malort?
age?
Which pick your poison, my friend. Or you know what?
probably-
Do one now and then one during injury time.
Nicole's driving.
That's true.
Give me the pumpkin spice now. I'll do
Ooh.
that.
Let me get a
Get the-
little cup. I know the cups are over there somewhere.
Get the shit one out of the way.
What a great idea you
Gotta
had,
shake it
Shore
up because
Billy.
there's like
Thank you so
sediment
much.
underneath there.
Oh, good
No.
sediment too. Yeah, just tickles the old throat.
Yeah, that's the sad part when you now have to shake the Malort.
On
Normally, Malort makes you shake it.
Yeah.
TikTok, most of you guys will know, unemployed wine guy that does bits. Everybody makes him do Malort stuff. There was one that they had him do recently, which was Malort and condensed milk.
Oh God,
It was-
fuck off.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I'd have canceled my channel.
Shore Billy sent me a recipe for a Malort pie.
Nope.
That reminds me of that.
I'm out.
There we go. John, do know that
You can see his face, which is awesome.
As you can tell, it's like a really like janky kind of handmade label. I spent $150 American dollars on this fucking bottle because I had to have it, and it
'Cause
was
we hate
also,
ourselves, let's
it was
be honest,
also
that's why.
the last bottle they had left at the distillery that I had my friend
John,
buy.
in case you're wondering where your Patreon money goes, shit like that.
Right here.
This is this case of scarcity does not equal quality.
No, yeah, exactly. Enjoy.
I love the call.
It's like it tastes like pumpkin spice vomit. The beer ain't gonna help. It doesn't make anything go away.
I
Doesn't help it
imagine
one
that's
bit.
how every 19 to 26-year-old white woman with an infinity scarf has tasted throw up for the last, I don't know, 15 years since pumpkin spice was the thing. From like late August to early December.
When they go out and get too
Too
hopped
drunk,
up on
but they had 6 lattes that morning.
on
Yeah.
Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc. Yep, that's
Yeah.
what they're tasting. Yep, that
that-
sounds about right.
That feels like a burp after the night of drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah, big time.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
I do have a couple of things. One, I didn't get a chance to ask you during, and I want to know, how do you feel about Ross Barkley finding his crayons again and being happy? Because his resurgence is Luton over these last couple of weeks has been brilliant. Obviously, he's Everton through and through.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about that? Is that good to see? You happy for him?
What would truly make me happy is to see both him and Darwin Nunez in the middle of the schoolyard with their crayons or street chalk drawing. That would make me happy.
And then taking just a little nibble.
Just a little nibble.
Just looking around.
Well, especially the street chalk. It looks like a giant thing of Laffy Taffy. Of course you want a little bite of that, you know? It's going to taste great, you know? Yeah,
I know we're going out on later, Mel. Shake that Laffy Taffy. Very popular song from the late 90s and early 2000s.
Alrighty.
Shake that Laffy Taffy.
All right, Mr. Graham.
I'm in for that. So the other thing I wanted to bring to the table real quick is I'm sure everybody is familiar with the North London Forever song that Arsenal sings prior to their games and then in key moments of the match, of course. The chorus you'll be familiar with says, North London Forever, whatever the weather, these streets are our own, and my heart will leave you never. My blood will forever run through the stone, right? Mm-hmm. Brilliant sentiment. Gorgeous. Absolutely. I wanted to read to you part of the first verse because this song, I don't know if anybody's ever read The Angel, which is the official name of the song by Lewis Dunford. But it's essentially about gentrification. Right? And how you'll never take away from us what was ours, even though you're changing everything around us. Right? And so it says, as I walk these streets alone through this borough I call home, upon the barren fields of Highbury, neath the stadiums of stone, through the turnstiles at the Angel, see the homeless on the green, comforting, from the Cali to the cross and every shithole in between, past the church, the mosque, a crack den, and the offie on the corner, an off license, a liquor store. See the brasses from the brothel that pretends to be a sauna. Watch the bedlam and the bookies. See the winners and the losers, seeking solace from the sorrow at the local battle cruisers, which I don't know what that means necessarily, but I can only imagine it's rhyming slang and it'd be a boozer.
Right.
Right. But a crack den makes an appearance. There's a few things that are quite bleak in here.
Yeah.
And then basically through the rest of it, through the madness in the market, weathered faces turn to greet ya. Hello, Governor, how's your mother? You all right, son? Be lucky, geezer. Double pie and mash and liquor. Cup of Rosie Lee up, chap. Or watch retired gangsters bicker every day in Arthur's Cafe. It's just the final line is, from the Thornhill to the Hemi, all the faces are the same, because the manner might be changing, but the people still remain. It's just, even though you're changing everything around us, you're buying everything up. It's kind of bleak, don't get me wrong, but it's just because you're fucking changing everything around us, you're not going to take the soul of the city away from us. And I thought it was pretty cool to talk about and to see. The other thing I have to mention before I get into my 1D back is just a phenomenal story I told you about earlier today during our pre-show meeting in the car. Africa Cup of Nations has been going on. We obviously don't cover a ton of international tournaments and stuff, but we like to check in from time to time.
I would like everybody to note the vein that I am prepping for this story right now. I am renting. This is put that shit right. Oh yes. Just wrap it around.
So
nice and tight.
We do not condone drug use here on the DU Football Show, but this is something that you can all get behind because it is a phenomenal story. So the Ivory Coast is the host nation for AFCON this year. They are barely squeaked through the group stages. Because of that, fired their manager mid-tournament. They asked the French, I think it's the French women's national team, if they could borrow Hervé Renard. They said no. So they didn't get the sexiest man in football to manage their country. But they did find some sort of interim guy that may or may not be doing actually anything.
Right.
They go behind in the game 1-0. It is the first I'm sorry, and that actually wasn't even until the 71st minute.
The goal. Who
First,
scored that goal?
Start at the beginning. They had to save a penalty in the first half of this game. This is the quarterfinal against Mali, by the way. So they don't have a manager properly. They find themselves in the quarterfinal somehow, and they're the host nation.
Right.
Which is brilliant. That's brilliant.
Right.
They have to save a penalty in the first half. They do. Then they get a man sent off right at the end of the first half,
Ivory
43rd
Coast.
minute.
Yeah.
Yep, Ivory Coast does. Then they go behind to Mali, right, in the 71st minute, to a player with the last name of Dorgeles, which I'm not familiar with this player. However, the first ever that I've been witness to apology celebration on the international stage, because his parents are Ivorian. They moved to Mali, and he was born a Malayan citizen, I guess you would say, Malayan probably, citizen, and chose to represent Mali and not the country of his parents' birth. So he does I'm really sorry about this. My parents are Ivorian. Apology celebration, which is fucking brilliant, right?
You see it all the time in clubs, never on an international level.
We saw it twice with Richarlison.
Right.
First ever that I've seen on the international stage, which is great. And I'm pretty sure one of the Boateng brothers scored either for Ghana or for Germany against the other at some point.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And neither one of them gave a shit.
No, not one shit.
Then, in the 90th minute, Ivory Coast, who's down to 10 men, remember, with no real manager,
Right.
score an equalizer. Force extra time. They go to extra time. All this shit's happening, right? It's 2-1. They're under the cosh, obviously. They've had to defend a couple of free kicks. They've had to defend a few Malayan attacks. And then Diakite for Ivory Coast scores in the 120th plus 3 minute. So stoppage time of extra time.
The death of the death. Like literally that kind of left death.
And get sent off. Because of the over celebration, more time was added on. They had to defend another attack and another free kick.
With 9 men.
And they did, with 9 men.
And a coachless team.
And essentially a coachless team, yeah.
And they're in the semifinals of the African Cup of Nations that they are hosting.
Normally we bring up Africa. There's a ton of corruption in African football. It's a whole onion problem with, economies and this and everything.
A lot of dictators run countries.
Of course.
And if they decide you're going to...
My son's going to play in the team no matter what. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
He's going to score a goal, and you're going to make sure he scores a goal. Yep. Because
And
I want my family to live.
We all watch Ted Lasso. We know how it goes.
Yeah.
Normally... it's police machine versus whoever, and we laugh because of their names, it is quite funny, to be honest. Police machine should not be the name of a football club.
It's the greatest statement. It's exactly why it should be the name of a fucking football club.
Yeah. The only thing better was what was it in Egypt, where Modern Future played pyramids or whatever it was?
My bone has a little machine.
Yes,
a
exactly.
police machine.
I mean, honestly, somebody, I think they were Nigerian clubs, I think. Somebody in some clubs should just change their name to Criminals, specifically to play police machine, because of Modern Future and pyramids. We need that again. It's just funny. But you oftentimes get, clubs being paid off. You get this, 92-1 score lines because of corruption and everything else. And there's a lot of obviously negative publicity, but there is a bunch of corruption and unprofessionalism in African football because of this. Also, their players have been purged because of European colonialism through the 40s and 50s, which is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of sad things have happened to African football over that time. But there is, given everything that has happened and what we know and observe from African football in general, there's no more African football story than this right here, and it put it straight in my veins.
Yeah.
I'm fucking here for it. I mean, it is awesome. I love everything about it.
That one doesn't go between the toes. I'm not ashamed of it. I want you to see
the track marks.
I want you to see that track mark.
This is awesome, and I'm fucking here for it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It's absolutely brilliant. And so if you just for a second try to remove all of the cultural negativity and bad things surrounding, the last, 70 years and Europe and Africa in general and the football relationship that you have with both of those continents. I need more of this.
Yeah.
And I need it now.
And then your final story, Mr. Graham, because you have a bunch.
D-back. No, this is it. This is the last one. The old D-back here is Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville. Just let people be happy, man. Just leave us alone. If Martin Odegaard wants to take a picture of the club legend / photographer, old Stewie, let him do it. Who cares?
Yeah.
What are you bothered by? What are you worried about? Just let people be happy.
Their boy ran onto the field and hugged his keeper in the middle of the field during a game that was going on.
And that was just passion.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
the release of such an emotional,
That man
passionate
goes
game.
down to the cop at the end of every single win and does the big pump that.
Yeah,
like,
but that's after the game. I'm not even talking about that.
Yeah, but if you're going to compare it with
well,
Odegaard, and that's after the game, it's like, if that's passion and that's okay, you know what? That's a massive fucking win. And honestly, since the days of Wenger, for me, I can't think of a bigger win for you guys. That was fucking huge.
Absolutely.
It does not like, I called you immediately after the game and said, hey, look, I got some points I want to get across, but other than that, you talk about it. That game was fucking massive, man. Like, please go. Like, that game's all for you. You're the fan. You're the supporter.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised to learn that I don't like the Globe very much.
Yeah, I like how John just laughed aloud.
John flew 3,000 miles to laugh at that.
To see it in person, yeah.
To
Absolutely right.
laugh at that.
To see the humbleness in person.
Pro Arsenal agenda, baby.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, other than that, is that all you got, Graham? You had like a laundry
No,
list
that's
of
it.
shit.
That's
Okay.
it. There was those three things I had to talk about.
All right, we are finishing so we can be done before 2 hours.
Yes,
On
okay.
the first show.
International Man of Mystery. Was it all the disappointment you expected it to be?
And more.
Yeah, that a boy.
And more.
Well, hey, we got 2 more fucking shows to do. Hang out. It's gonna just get worse.
Yeah.
We get drunker. All right, everybody. Next up is the EFL show. Of course, we're going to continue streaming. We are going to take a quick break just because we need to reset and
I had to take a fucking piss.
got to grab some stuff as well and do all of that. And then after that will be injury time, where we talk about the beers we've been drinking, and there's plenty of those. We're also going to go ahead and talk about our adopted clubs, fantasy football as well, which I know there's been some definite shuffles around. And I have not looked at Taylor's team name specifically because I heard Brody say it was a magnificent team name.
I haven't looked at it either
We got
because I don't
another
pay.
shake-up in the doo-doo league.
And doo-doo.
John's not going to like this one.
And then of course we preview the weekend's action as well. And if somebody wanted to find injury time, Mr. Graham, how do they go about doing it?
I'll put my leg out there for the taxi one more time. It's patreon.com/DU Football Show. You just sign up to that one beautiful $5 tier, and maybe a lovely Indian man will pick you up on the side of the road and take you back to JFK so you can fly home like John. Very easy to do, actually. You get all of our extra content, which at some point soon there will be a video featuring me in a Paw Patrol mask.
Yeah, because they ain't happening tonight.
No,
that video's
can't.
coming eventually.
Can no
Won't
do
be
that.
Groundhog Day. We'll have to change it up to you in a Paw Patrol mask.
So it's going to be fun, guys.
I think-
just make sure you do that.
I think it's you in a Paw Patrol mask with some kind of a Magnolia theme. I think that's exactly the route we
All
need
right.
to go.
Fair.
Alrighty.
Not sure what that
I
means.
don't know. I was thinking Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, yep, that too.
Okay. Also haven't seen that movie for 35 years.
Till next week, everybody.
Guten Nacht, Mr. Jurgen.